This week we are so back with a ton of world premieres that you need to see. Guys, we're finally getting a new multiplayer action RPG. Honor of Kings World is an Eastern fantasy spin-off from the, at least in China, very popular mobile MOBA Honor of Kings by Tencent's Teamy Studio. And although this looks like an MMORPG, this is more of an MMO-lite. You can meet other players in shared hubs, but otherwise you have your own private worlds. If you want, you can invite friends to roam the large open world together. Larger encounters include boss battles against massive mythical beasts from Chinese folklore, while smaller dungeons and raids are designed for groups of 4 players. You step into the role of a student at an academy that trains future heroes. From there, the game sends you across wide landscapes ranging from cliffs and forests to ancient ruins. Exploration plays a huge part, with tools like gliders, grappling hooks, and hoverboards helping you move around quickly. But the action combat is the real star of this game, with responsive staggers, parries, and mid-air fights. There is a dual-wielding weapon system, as well as a dynamic flow system that lets players switch fluidly between 2 combat styles at any time. Each stance comes with its own abilities and ultimate attack, encouraging quick swaps during fights to combine melee strikes, ranged techniques, and special abilities in longer attack chains. There are your typical combat roles like tank, DD, and healer, but thanks to the flow, you're not locked into one. If you also enjoy the casual life, just like me, then there is a housing system too, with farming and crafting. Honor of Kings World has actually just launched in China on April 10th. And from what we've seen so far, players are super hyped. The business model in China is free-to-play, designed around cosmetics and a battle pass. Us players in the West are soon getting additional playtests for the PC version, which you can already sign up for on their official website. Do you love to get chased down by spiders and monsters with your friends in a dire battle to survive the night with the simple goal of don't starve together? Well, that's great, because soon you can don't starve elsewhere. Clay Entertainment has just announced this as a new standalone game. It is set in the same universe, but introduces a brand new game world and modern game mechanics. Just like before, players can survive alone or work together to survive. You begin with almost nothing and have to gather resources, craft tools, build a shelter, and try to survive. What's new is that the procedurally generated map now features several vertical layers. This means we can not only climb snowy mountain ranges or descend into cave systems, but also glide down mountain ranges, hop over gaps, or swim across rivers. Each biome comes with its own resources and dangers, forcing you to adapt your equipment and survival strategy. One of the major new threats is something called the fog. It is slowly spreading across the world, altering the environment and affecting your sanity. We love that Elsewhere is really building on what was great about Don't Starve. Not just giving it a visual facelift and calling it a day. Especially the combat looks like they put a lot of work into it, which is good news because for Nox, this was a major pain point. For me, keeping the camp up and running was more difficult, but it looks like they changed a lot about the building too. A release date has not been announced yet, but the game is currently in development for PC on Steam. No Man's Sky has just dropped our favorite update ever. Forget building your own spaceship, starting your own settlement, or the 35 other updates. With update 6.3, Xeno Arena, the many different creatures you discover across the galaxy now serve a new purpose. Because now it's time for Space Pokémon! You can now become a galactic trainer and challenge other players or NPC opponents to turn-based battles at holographic arena tables scattered across space stations, planetary outposts, and the space anomaly. Each creature brings its own abilities shaped by species, environment, and personality, ranging from healing moves and shields to stuns or powerful attacks. 8 different elements add another layer of strategy, meaning you really want to catch them all. Wildlife on a frozen world, a water planet, or a radioactive desert will bring your team to perfection. Winning fights in tournaments or new daily challenges earns experience, and you will climb league ranks. But the real depth comes from the new genetics system. The creatures can be modified to improve their stats, including health, agility, or combat strength. And breeding at the Anomalies X sequencer allows traits to pass down to offspring. We are so glad that Sean Murray didn't announce this on April 1st, even though this looks unbelievable. No Man's Sky has come such a long way, thinking that it has been almost 10 years since its a bit bumpy launch. Yet it's still here, better than ever, and regularly getting new updates that blow us away. We'll definitely reinstall to check Xeno Arena out. The Temtem universe is expanding once more with Temtem Pioneers, a newly announced open-world survival crafting spin-off. And yes, we're thinking what you're thinking. This creature collection meets open-world formula has been very popular lately. But even if you think you do not need another one, you might be mistaken here. Because this might just be the perfect game if your co-op group is made up of very different people who have very different tastes in games. Your one friend who loves survival crafting can go gather together with a Temtem companion and build a base fit to defend from raids. Your exploration buddy can go explore hidden caverns on horseback, Temtem back, and tame more than 200 unique Temtem, care for them and train them. And another friend loves action, real-time battles, and difficult boss fights. Great, let them think of the best temp synergies for your group. And speaking of combat, this also got way cooler compared to the first Temtem game. Instead of turn-based battles, players control up to 3 Temtem in real-time fights, switching between them for combos, dodging attacks, and chaining abilities. You see, Pioneers offers a lot of new things, and we think this could work great. Also, not to throw any shade on Palworld, we love them, but the whole shooting penguins with machine guns and having an army of depressed pals is not working for everyone either. This one here is like the family-friendly, more cozy brother, and we cannot wait to see more of it. Also, it already got fully backed on Kickstarter within, I think, 8 hours or so. So others definitely feel the same about it as we do. Early playtesting is planned for backers and a full release currently targeted for December 2028. Would you look at this adorable group of heroes out on a cozy adventure? Wait, oh no. Oh no. This is Lost Railway, a game that you do not want to play in the dark. Or, you know what? One that you really want to play with the lights out. Because this is a brutal horror survivor game for up to 4 brave plushies. It's got that railway in the name because you travel through a ruined world aboard an old train that must keep moving. To fuel the journey, players leave the safety of the wagons and explore abandoned stations, bunkers, and strange biomes in search of valuables. Bring back enough loot before time runs out and the train continues. But if you fail the mission due to complications, well, that's where Lost comes in. Each run plays out as a short expedition into dangerous locations filled with traps, enemies, and hidden shortcuts. The longer you stay, the more chaotic things become, as a mutation system steadily increases the danger. Some creatures can be fought with weapons, but stronger monsters are better avoided entirely. You know what? I don't want to spend time with these guys anyway. The same might be true for your friends, because if you're in a tight spot together, they can either choose to be a heroic savior or just abandon you on the spot. But if things work out, you can explore together, split up to gather resources, because horror movies clearly told you that this is a good idea. Solve environmental puzzles, or drag wounded teammates back to the train to bring them back to life. Reviving comes with side effects, but just embrace being different, I guess. The visual style brings such a fun contrast. The world is presented in colorful pixel art with those cute innocent animal characters. Yet the environments are so grim and gory with strange monsters and mutations. It actually reminded us of Happy Tree Friends. A playable prologue is already available on Steam, while the full release is currently listed as coming soon for PC. Enshrouded's full launch later this year is approaching fast. with update 0.8 arriving on April 21st, being their final major patch before the big launch. And if you not only thought that all the characters kinda look 4 feet tall, but also fight like stuffed hobbits after their second breakfast, you are in luck. Although the next update doesn't fix player height, it focuses heavily on combat and gameplay improvements instead. New animations and abilities aim to make fights feel faster and more fluid, with moves like shield slams, lunging attacks, and weapon skills that can be unleashed once you have charged them up. Dodging is also being reworked, with proper iframes instead of constant rolling and hoping you don't get hit. Weapons, traits, and gems are being adjusted to make underused builds more viable, with improved armor set bonuses to encourage their use over simple stat stacking. And worry not, the 3 or 4 people out there playing magic builds, those will be addressed soon as well. Another standout feature is adventure sharing, which allows players to package and share their creations with others. Others can load and explore these creations in a read-only format, opening the door for custom dungeons, puzzles, and community-made challenges. So if your builds so far have looked more like a packed Amazon box than a real house, you will soon be able to download your dream estate and make it a reality. The Planet Crafter just received its 2.0 update, a large free upgrade that focuses primarily on visuals and exploration. It adds a new biome to Planet Prime, expands existing areas, and introduces things like a jetpack. For your rover, now you can finally watch your planet become habitable in third-person mode while placing the newly added building decorations. Atmospheric. The patch also upgrades skyboxes, weather, vegetation, and performance, making the terraforming process look much more alive overall. A new update for Titan Quest 2 is bringing back summoning builds, one of the most requested features from the original game. And if you are wondering about the current state of co-op, let's just say the multiplayer has worked its way from experimental to playable. Still a work in progress, but heading into the right direction. Anno 117 is getting its first major expansion, Prophecies of Ash, arriving later this April. The DLC introduces the largest island in the series so far, providing long, usable rivers, mines, and a new resource called obsidian. A massive active volcano dominates the region, requiring players to manage eruptions and ash while possibly turning its power into economic benefits. But if you have ever heard of Pompeii, there might be a little spoiler lurking. Clay's other upcoming game, Away Team, set in the Oxygen Not Included universe, has just revealed it will support full co-op at launch. Players control duplicants in a simulated world built around physics, exploration, and survival systems. Closed playtest signups are now open to test multiplayer balance and technical limits. Brotato is heading into the jungle with Primal Dread, a paid expansion arriving in summer 2026. The DLC adds a new map, additional characters, weapons, and items, all themed around mutant dinosaurs and rogue machines, which pairs quite well with the recently introduced nightmare difficulty, just like ketchup and fries. The co-op survival horror Whisper Mountain Outbreak has launched its Cursed update, which introduces, well, cursed items. What a surprise! There's also a new map, weapon, and class improvements, as well as modifiers to increase tension. We played it a while back and, well, the tension seriously didn't need any further rising. Oh, and there's a cat now. A new expansion for Risk of Rain 2 has been announced with Hallowed concepts. You can explore new darker regions with new enemies and curse mechanics that change how runs unfold. The flavor of the month seems to be curses. The DLC will also introduce additional stages, secrets, and 2 new survivors, although a release date has not been confirmed yet. Dune Awakening is shifting direction with its next update, moving towards a more PvE-first design while still keeping PvP as an optional experience. According to Funcom's latest developer update, over 80% of players focus purely on PvE, prompting the studio to separate the 2 playstyles more clearly. With the upcoming patch, the main region, Haga Basin, will become fully PvE, while endgame content in the deep desert will be split into dedicated instances. One will focus entirely on PvE exploration and survival, while the other will offer an open PvP experience with higher resource yields to balance the increased risk. It's been only a few weeks since we first announced we were here tomorrow, and just yesterday, the first playable demo was shadow dropped on Steam. So if you are a fan of the series or looking to become one, you can try it out right now. The full game is set to release later this year. And another big shadow drop on the horizon. No wait, scrap horizon, that's a shot straight in the front of the bow. Windrose is releasing in early access 3 days from now. Talking about short notice, eh? Either way, we are super excited for it and can't wait to set sail and sink alongside each other. You gotta see things through to the end, don't you? Nox is already hoping for a massive dodo nerf to keep his death counter in check. Either way, that's all for this week. We wish you tons of fun in co-op with your favorite people, above or under the water, and we will see you again in the next one.